Ever feel an instant connection with someone like you've known them forever? What if I told you there's a subconscious trick happening, a silent language creating that bond? In this video, we'll uncover the secret psychology behind why some people just get each other and how you can subtly master it to build powerful rapport in any interaction. Mirroring creates instant connection because it communicates something far deeper than words ever could. It speaks directly to the subconscious mind. Imagine sitting with someone for the first time and within minutes you both feel completely at ease, as if you've known each other for years. That feeling doesn't come from coincidence or charisma. It comes from a hidden psychological exchange. When you subtly mirror someone's tone of voice, body language, facial expressions, or posture, you signal similarity, and similarity is the foundation of human connection. The human brain constantly scans the environment for familiarity, for something it can relate to, for patterns it already understands. When you mirror someone, you become a reflection of their own comfort zone. You become safe. Every human interaction carries a subtle question. Can I trust this person? Before the logical mind even processes words, the body is already answering that question through nonverbal communication. A simple tilt of the head, a similar hand gesture, or matching someone's rhythm of speech tells the subconscious mind, this person gets me. It's like an unspoken language, a dance between two nervous systems that builds rapport without effort. In seconds, walls come down and communication starts flowing naturally. It's not manipulation, it's empathy in motion. Think about moments when you met someone who made you feel immediately comfortable. Chances are they didn't dominate the conversation or try too hard to impress you. Instead, they unconsciously mirrored your tone, pace, and energy. When you laughed, they laughed. When you leaned in, they leaned in. When you paused, they respected the silence. It felt easy, and that's exactly how mirroring works. It synchronizes two people's states until they feel emotionally in tune. That's why people who are deeply connected, best friends, couples, or teammates, often start finishing each other's sentences or adopting similar gestures over time. It's not a trick, it's human nature aligning itself. The magic of mirroring lies in its subtlety. If you overdo it, it feels forced and unnatural. But when done with genuine intention, it becomes invisible, yet powerfully effective. The goal isn't to copy someone like a shadow, but to harmonize with their rhythm, to show them through your energy that you're present, listening, and attuned. When people feel mirrored, they feel validated. Their mind subconsciously says, this person is like me. They understand me. And that opens the door to trust. In every interaction, whether it's meeting a client, talking to a friend, or building a relationship, connection happens not through what you say, but through how you make the other person feel. Mirroring bridges that gap between two individuals, turning strangers into allies, conversations into bonds, and tension into understanding. It's one of the simplest yet most profound psychological tools you can master. The next time you meet someone new, try mirroring their energy with sincerity. Don't force it. Just flow with it. You'll notice that invisible shift, that moment when the air feels lighter and the connection feels real. That's the power of mirroring. Silent, instant, and deeply human. The brain trusts similarity because, at its core, it's designed to protect us. For thousands of years, human survival depended on belonging to a group, a tribe that shared the same values, behaviors, and communication patterns. Those who looked, acted, and sounded like us were considered allies. Those who didn't were seen as potential threats. Even today, that ancient wiring still lives within us. When you meet someone who feels familiar, someone whose energy, tone, and behavior align with yours, your brain automatically lowers its guard. You feel safe without even knowing why. That's the subconscious power of similarity, and mirroring is how we activate it in human interaction. Every time you interact with someone, their brain runs a rapid, silent scan. Are you like me? Do I feel comfortable around you? This happens in milliseconds, long before any logical thought forms. That's why first impressions matter so deeply, because the brain's trust filter is emotional, not rational. When you mirror someone's communication style, their pace, gestures, tone, and expressions, you're essentially telling their subconscious, we're the same. And once that message is received, their defenses relax. They become more open, cooperative, and emotionally receptive. It's like gaining access to the part of them that's beyond resistance. This isn't about manipulation or pretending to be someone else. It's about understanding the way human connection truly works. Mirroring doesn't deceive the mind. It reassures it. When someone feels seen, their brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone that builds trust. This is the same chemical that strengthens relationships, deepens empathy, and creates the sense of warmth we feel around people we like. Mirroring triggers this feeling of belonging, transforming awkward tension into instant connection. Consider how easily we connect with people who share our accent, hobbies, or emotional tone. We say things like, I feel like I've known you forever, or we just click. That click isn't magic, it's the brain recognizing patterns it already trusts. In contrast, when someone's energy feels off, when their body language, tone, or rhythm clash with ours, the brain interprets it as a mismatch, even if their words are kind. We start feeling uncomfortable, disconnected, or guarded without knowing why. That's because similarity builds safety, and safety is the foundation of all rapport. When you use mirroring intentionally, you're not changing who you are. You're meeting people where they are. You're entering their world for a moment and speaking in their language, not just with words, but with presence. You allow their nervous system to relax and say, it's okay to trust. Once that happens, communication flows naturally. The other person becomes more engaged, more honest, and more open to influence. The truth is, we all crave to feel understood, and similarity is the shortcut that gets us there. The brain doesn't trust perfection or persuasion, it trusts familiarity. And when you master mirroring, you master the art of making people feel at home in your presence. Mirroring works on 3 levels: physical, verbal, and emotional. And together, these levels create the deep, subconscious harmony that draws people toward you. Most people think communication is all about words, but in reality, words are only a small part of the message. The majority of connection happens through tone, rhythm, and body language. When you mirror on all 3 levels with awareness and authenticity, you send a powerful signal that says, I understand you. It's not something you tell people. It's something they feel. The first level is physical mirroring, which happens through body language and movement. This includes posture, gestures, facial expressions, and even breathing patterns. When 2 people are connected, their bodies unconsciously begin to reflect each other. You might notice one person crossing their legs, and moments later, the other does the same. One leans in, the other follows. This is not imitation, it's synchronization. Physical mirroring tells the subconscious mind that both individuals are aligned. It's the body's way of saying we're on the same team. When you want to build rapport with someone, start by observing their physical cues. If they're relaxed, be relaxed. If they're expressive, open your body language. The key is subtlety. The goal is to match their comfort, not to mimic their actions. The second level is verbal mirroring, which involves language patterns, tone, and pacing. Every person has a unique communication rhythm. Some speak fast with high energy. Others take their time choosing their words carefully. Matching someone's pace helps you build a natural flow. It's also powerful to use similar phrases or reflect back key words they use. For instance, if someone says, "I'm feeling overwhelmed," you might respond, "I understand. It sounds like there's a lot on your plate." That's verbal mirroring in action. You're not copying their words, you're reflecting their meaning in a way that validates their experience. When people hear their language echoed back, they subconsciously feel seen and understood. The third and most powerful level is emotional mirroring. This is about tuning in to someone's feelings and responding with matching emotional energy. If someone is excited, you meet them with enthusiasm. If they're calm, you slow your tone and presence to match that calmness. Emotional mirroring creates resonance. It's like your emotions are vibrating at the same frequency. When you connect emotionally, logic fades into the background, and people feel truly understood on a human level. It's the kind of connection that goes beyond words and leaves a lasting impression. When you combine all three levels, physical, verbal, and emotional, you create a complete mirror that allows people to feel deeply comfortable around you. They might not know why, but something about your presence feels right. That's because, consciously or not, you're communicating, you're safe, you're understood. And that feeling is the foundation of instant rapport. True mirroring isn't about copying someone, it's about aligning with them moment by moment until the space between you disappears and understanding naturally flows. Emotional mirroring builds empathy because it speaks directly to the heart, not the intellect. It's the difference between hearing someone and truly feeling them. When you emotionally mirror another person, you step into their emotional world and reflect it back in a way that says, "I see you, I feel you, and I understand you." It's one of the deepest forms of human connection because it satisfies our most fundamental emotional need, the need to be understood. We don't crave agreement as much as we crave understanding. And when someone mirrors our emotions, we feel validated on a level that words alone can't reach. Think about a time when you were upset and someone told you to calm down. It probably made you feel more frustrated, right? But when someone looks at you and says, "I can see why that hurt you," the tension softens instantly. That's the power of emotional mirroring. It doesn't try to fix or control emotions, it reflects and validates them. When someone feels mirrored emotionally, they feel safe enough to open up, to share more honestly, and to trust more deeply. It's what great therapists, friends, and leaders do instinctively. They meet people where they are emotionally, not where they think they should be. Emotional mirroring is not about pretending to feel the same thing as the other person. It's about matching the emotional energy behind their message. If someone shares excitement, you allow yourself to feel and express that enthusiasm too. If they're sad, you slow your tone, speak gently, and hold space for that feeling. This doesn't mean absorbing their emotions. It means attuning to them, reflecting them in a grounded, empathetic way. Through this process, a bridge forms between your inner world and theirs, and that bridge is empathy. The most powerful communicators in the world understand this naturally. When you watch an inspiring speaker, a counselor, or a great friend in conversation, notice how they adjust emotionally. Their tone, their pauses, their energy, everything aligns with the other person's emotional state. That alignment says more than any advice or opinion ever could. Emotional mirroring is what transforms casual communication into a genuine connection. It's the unspoken message that says, "You're not alone in what you're feeling." Science supports this too. When we emotionally mirror someone, our brains activate the same neural pathways that process empathy. Specifically, the mirror neurons responsible for understanding others' emotions. This is why we feel sad when we see someone cry or uplifted when someone smiles. Our brains are wired to mirror emotional states as a way to bond socially. When you consciously use that ability, you become someone who can connect on a soul level. The truth is, emotional mirroring doesn't require effort. It requires presence. It means being fully there, listening not just to words, but to energy, tone, and emotion. When people feel emotionally mirrored, they feel accepted. They feel seen. And in a world that's often too busy to truly listen, being that kind of presence is magnetic. Emotional mirroring is empathy in action, a silent gift that says, "Your emotions are safe here." Mirroring diffuses conflict and resistance because it gently lowers emotional defenses and creates a sense of psychological safety. When people argue or disagree, the natural instinct is to push back, to defend, to prove, or to win. But when you meet that energy with resistance, it only fuels more tension. Mirroring, on the other hand, works like emotional judo. Instead of colliding with someone's energy, you redirect it by reflecting it back calmly. This signals to their subconscious mind that you're not a threat, you're an ally. And when people feel that they're being understood rather than opposed, their nervous system relaxes, their ego softens, and real communication begins. In moments of disagreement, most people listen to reply, not to understand. They prepare their counter-argument, trying to convince the other person why they're wrong. But mirroring flips this dynamic completely. When someone is upset, instead of defending your position, you mirror their emotion and perspective. You might say, "I can see why that would frustrate you," or "It sounds like you're feeling unheard." These phrases aren't about surrendering or agreeing. They're about acknowledging that acknowledgement is powerful. It tells the other person's brain, "You're safe. You don't have to fight to be seen." Once that happens, the emotional storm starts to calm, and the logical mind comes back online. This process is deeply rooted in how the human brain processes threat and safety. When people feel attacked, even verbally or emotionally, their amygdala, the part of the brain that handles fear, activates, logic shuts down, and emotion takes over. But when someone mirrors their feelings calmly, it signals the brain to deactivate that fight or flight response. The person feels heard, and their emotional guard starts to drop. It's like flipping a switch from confrontation to cooperation. Mirroring doesn't eliminate disagreement. It transforms the emotional atmosphere so that understanding becomes possible. Think about how effective negotiators, therapists, or wise friends handle conflict. They don't overpower the other person's energy. They match it and slowly guide it downward. If someone is angry, they acknowledge that anger with calm empathy, not defensiveness. "You sound really frustrated about how that turned out," they might say. That one line can dissolve tension because it satisfies the emotional need behind the anger, the need to be recognized. Once people feel recognized, they stop fighting for validation. Their focus shifts from defending to connecting. Mirroring in conflict doesn't mean agreeing with everything the other person says. It simply means making them feel seen. It's a form of emotional alignment that restores mutual respect. You can't reason with someone whose emotions are on fire, but you can calm the flames through understanding. Once the emotional temperature drops, productive dialogue becomes possible. The beauty of mirroring is that it doesn't require power or authority, only awareness and presence. When you mirror calmly and sincerely, you turn tension into trust. You remind people that the goal isn't to win the argument, but to restore connection. That's how mirroring transforms conflict, by changing the emotional battlefield into common ground. Authentic mirroring creates real trust because it comes from a place of genuine empathy, not manipulation. People can always sense the difference between someone who is trying to connect and someone who is trying to control. True mirroring isn't about technique or strategy, it's about presence. It's about genuinely caring enough to tune into another person's world, to understand their emotions, their pace, and their rhythm, and to meet them there. When you do this sincerely, without any hidden agenda, the other person's subconscious mind picks up on your authenticity. They relax, they trust you, they open up. That's because authenticity is something you can't fake. It's felt. When you mirror someone with sincerity, what you're really doing is saying, "You matter enough for me to pay attention." And that simple message builds the foundation of trust. In a world where most people listen just to respond, being fully present with someone is rare, and rare things are powerful. When people feel truly seen and heard, they stop hiding behind their masks. They reveal their real thoughts, their real emotions, their real selves. That level of openness doesn't happen through persuasion or logic. It happens through emotional alignment. Mirroring, when authentic, makes others feel safe enough to be themselves. Authenticity also protects mirroring from becoming manipulation. Some people hear about mirroring and try to use it as a trick, a way to make others like them or to gain influence. But when mirroring is done with self-interest rather than empathy, it feels off. The gestures become exaggerated, the tone feels unnatural, and instead of building trust, it creates discomfort. The human brain is remarkably good at detecting insincerity. Even if someone doesn't consciously notice, their subconscious picks up subtle cues, mismatched energy, forced expressions, delayed reactions. The result? The person feels uneasy and doesn't know why. That's why authenticity is everything. To mirror authentically, you have to shift your intention from, "I want something from this person," to, "I want to understand this person." When you approach interactions with curiosity and compassion, mirroring happens naturally. You don't have to think about it or plan it. You just find yourself in sync because your focus is on understanding, not on controlling. This genuine intention creates resonance, a deep, energetic harmony that people can feel. Trust isn't built through effort, it's built through alignment. The beauty of authentic mirroring is that it leaves both people better. It's not one person influencing another, it's two people meeting in a shared emotional space. You walk away from the conversation feeling lighter, connected, and respected. That's the power of genuine connection. It fills, it doesn't drain. The truth is, authenticity doesn't just build trust with others. It strengthens trust within yourself. When your actions align with empathy, you feel more centered and real. Authentic mirroring reminds us that the goal of communication isn't to impress, it's to connect. And when connection is real, trust follows naturally, effortlessly, and beautifully.